Dr. Pandya, now I would invite Ambassador Trigunayat for opening remarks.
Namaskar. A very warm welcome to you all today for this fourth Maharana Pratap Annual Geopolitical Dialogue. Honorable Minister Shri Kirti Vardhan Singh Ji, His Highness Maharana Vishwaraj Singh Ji, Honorable Lieutenant Governor Shri Tejinder Khanna Ji, Excellencies, Mr. Sahai, ambassadors, diplomats, academics, thinkers, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, I would like to thank the Ministry of External Affairs for continuously supporting this venture, which brings together the real thinkers. And Usanas Foundation, I must say, and congratulate them, especially Abhinav Pandya and the Usanas team, for continuing to find the themes that are relevant, the themes that are very important for India and for the global discourse, and has been able to establish and set up that. Last time when I spoke here, I spoke about two black swan events. You can call them as two black swan or a grey swan or whatever, but they do have a tremendous impact on the way the world looks at, or the way the world is going to take a turn, or how it is going to move forward. So those were, firstly, the pandemic, and we discussed at the time that there were 4 challenges in front of the world. It was health, it was hunger, it was habitat, and high-tech. For every country in the world had to deal with that. While we were not even out of that, we had the second challenge, which was the challenge of Russia-Ukraine war. The wars happen everywhere, but certain wars have very pervasive impact across the world. And in my view, we thought that there are 4 Fs that came out of it. Very often we only talk of 3 Fs. The 4 F is the Western weaponization of financial instruments, and then the weaponization of food, fertilizer, and fuel by the Russians, which really impacted a great deal all our countries of the global south. That really impacted India to take the lead role, essentially because India stood up for them during the pandemic, and thereafter how to depoliticize the food, fertilizer, and fuel. And then we had the Middle East war. We had the terror attack of the October 7 by Hamas, and we have seen that in 15 months there had been denial, 4Ds, defiance of the international law. There has been destruction, and there is disruption which is taking place. And now, in my view, we have the 4th one, which is in terms of President Trump. He is a disruptor, and he has disrupted the way the world thought or think. He is thinking of America first. We think of India first. Every country's foreign policy driven towards its own national interest. Nothing wrong with it. But if you come to think of it, I have tried to put it as if it is for use to define this, that a person with his kind of thing, we know him. This time he's much more predictable. Everybody knows, so you can deal with it. That undermining of the established norms. And then understanding of the power dynamic. The best thing about him is he's against the wars. He has different tools, like tariff and others, that he uses. But then unilateralism, which has been the hallmark of the US foreign policy in the last few decades, will continue. Then, of course, we have often seen some kind of an undermining of the sovereignty issues, which will have to be discussed here, as well as exit from some of the international or multilateral institutions. So, but if he is able to end these 2 wars, I think the world will benefit a great deal. And the indications are heading towards that. And that is something that we will need to wait. Many people believe that we are heading towards Cold War 2.0. But personally, I feel that it will perhaps be a Cold War 2.0 in a geopolitical sense going forward, but we might be having a multipolar world in the geo-economic sense, because there are many centers of power, economic power, that are emerging here. So India is well placed with its policy of strategic autonomy, multi-alignments, having large number of friends across the world. And that's very, very important for us. And it has proved right. Our policies are now appreciated by all the countries. Honorable Minister is here, but sir, with your permission, if I can say how I look at our foreign policy today is driven by 4 V's. One is the value-based foreign policy and a sane foreign policy. We talk of peace, dialogue, diplomacy. Second is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The world is one family. And that's something Prime Minister Modi has done. And thirdly, by becoming the voice of Global South. This is not something that was a one-off thing. 3 conferences of the Global South that India has conducted, and the Global South trusts India today. They look up to India when we are going into the global marketplace. And lastly, to be a Vishwamitra and Vishwabandhu. And that's what is going to take us forward. Thank you very much.